This is Max and Mia Podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Max and Mia Podcast. I'm Max.
And I'm Mia. How are you doing today, Max?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Actually, I had the most interesting morning. I was at the coffee shop earlier and overheard this fascinating conversation between two friends planning a weekend trip. It got me thinking about how much we can learn just by listening to everyday conversations.
Oh, that's perfect. Speaking of conversations, I've been practicing my small talk with my neighbors lately. You know how sometimes you want to be friendly, but you're not sure what to say beyond hello?
Absolutely. That awkward moment when you're waiting for the elevator and you know you should say something, but your mind goes completely blank.
Exactly. Well, speaking of conversations, that brings us perfectly to today's topic.
Today we're diving into something really practical and useful: intermediate English conversations. We know many of our listeners have moved beyond basic English, but sometimes feel stuck when it comes to natural flowing conversations.
That's right. We're going to explore 3 different real-life scenarios that you might encounter. We'll help you understand not just what people are saying, but how they're saying it and why.
Before each conversation, we'll go over key vocabulary and expressions you'll hear. Then, after listening, we'll break down the language patterns, cultural context, and give you tips on how to use these phrases yourself.
Our 3 conversations today cover situations you'll definitely encounter: making plans with friends, dealing with a customer service issue, and a workplace conflict.
So grab your notebook, get comfortable, and let's start building your confidence for real English conversations. Ready, Mia?
Let's do this. First up, let's look at some vocabulary you'll need for our first conversation.
Vocabulary preview.
All right, let's start with our first word: up for.
Great choice. So up for means willing to do something or interested in participating. It's super casual and friendly.
Exactly. For example, you might say, "Are you up for grabbing dinner tonight?" It's like asking if someone wants to do something, but in a more relaxed way.
And here's another way you could use it. I'm always up for trying new restaurants. It shows you're open and enthusiastic about something.
Nice. Okay, Mia, your turn with the next word.
Okay, my word is catch up.
Oh, this is such a useful one. Catch up means to talk with someone you haven't seen in a while, sharing news and updates about your lives.
Exactly. Here's an example. We should catch up over coffee sometime. You're suggesting meeting to talk and share what's been happening.
Right. Or you could say, "I need to catch up with my old college friends." It's that idea of reconnecting and getting updated on each other's lives.
Perfect explanation. Okay, Max, what's our third word?
Let's go with down for.
Ooh, this one's similar to up for, but slightly different. Down for also means willing or interested, but it's often used when someone suggests a specific plan.
Exactly. For example, if your friend says, "Want to see a movie?" you could respond, "Yeah, I'm down for that." It's very casual and shows agreement.
Great example. You could also use it like this. Are you down for pizza tonight? It's asking if someone agrees with your suggestion.
Love it. Your turn, Mia.
My word is rain check.
This is such a polite way to decline an invitation. A rain check means you can't do something now, but you'd like to do it another time.
You're right. Here's how you'd use it. I can't make it tonight, but can I take a rain check? As you can see, you're being polite while suggesting doing it another time.
Or you might say, "Sorry, I'll have to take a rain check on dinner. Something came up." It's a nice way to postpone without being rude.
Great explanation. All right, Max, what's our final vocabulary word?
Let's finish with hang out.
This is probably one of the most common phrases for spending casual time with friends. Hang out means to spend time together in a relaxed, informal way.
Absolutely. For example, do you want to hang out this weekend? You're not planning anything specific, just casual time together.
Exactly. Or you could say, we just hung out at the park and talked.
Perfect. So we've covered up for, catch up, down for, rain check, and hang out. These will definitely help you follow our first conversation.
Great. Now let's listen to Sarah and Mike making weekend plans.
Hey, Mike, how's your week going?
Oh, hey, Sarah. It's been pretty busy, but good. You know how it is at the office, one meeting after another. I'm so ready for the weekend, though. What about you? How are things at your new place?
Same here. I've been working late all week trying to finish this big project. My boss wants everything ready by Monday, so I've been stressed out. I really need to unwind and do something fun. And well, the new apartment is great, though. Thanks for asking. I finally got all my furniture set up.
That's awesome about the apartment. I still need to come see it. And yeah, work has been crazy for me too. My manager just assigned me 3 new clients, so I've been whomped. But hey, are you up for doing something this Saturday? I think we both deserve a break.
Absolutely, I'm definitely up for hanging out. I've been looking forward to having some free time. What did you have in mind? Please tell me it doesn't involve anything too energetic. I'm exhausted.
Don't worry, I'm not suggesting we go hiking or anything like that. Well, I was thinking we could check out that new farmer's market downtown. I heard they have amazing food trucks and live music. My coworker Janet went last weekend and said it was really cool. Plus, it's pretty relaxed.
That sounds awesome. I love farmers markets. There's something so nice about walking around, trying different foods, and listening to music. I'm totally down for that. What time does it start? And more importantly, do they have good coffee?
I think it opens at 9 a.m., but honestly, I'm not much of a morning person on weekends. I need at least 2 cups of coffee before I can function properly. How about we meet around 11? That should give us both time to wake up properly. And yes, I'm pretty sure they have several coffee vendors.
Perfect. That works for me. I'm definitely not ready to see humans before 10 a.m. on a Saturday. Oh, and maybe we could grab lunch there and then catch up properly. I feel like we haven't talked in ages. Just quick texts here and there. There's so much going on in my life right now.
Yes, I'd love to catch up. There's so much I want to tell you about my new job responsibilities, and I'm really curious about how you're settling into your neighborhood. Plus, I want to hear all about your trip to see your sister in Portland last month. You never told me how that went.
Oh, right. That trip was incredible. My sister showed me around all these amazing local spots that tourists never see. And I tried this food truck that had the best tacos I've ever eaten in my life. I have so many photos to show you. This farmer's market will be perfect for catching up.
That sounds amazing. I love discovering hidden gems in cities. Speaking of which, should we invite anyone else to join us? What about Jessica and Tom? It might be fun to have a little group.
Good idea. I haven't seen Jessica in weeks. Let me text them now and see what they're up to. Okay, I just sent messages to both of them.
Great. Let me check with them too. Jessica just replied. She says she's already got plans to help her mom move some furniture, but she'll take a rain check for next weekend. She suggested we plan something for Sunday next week.
That's fine. Moving is such a pain. What about Tom? Did he respond yet?
He just texted back. He's down for it. He said he'll meet us there at 11:30 because he has to drop his car off at the mechanic first. Apparently, his brakes have been making weird noises.
Awesome. So it's the 3 of us then. I'm really looking forward to this. It'll be nice to just hang out, relax, and not think about work for a while. Plus, Tom always has the funniest stories.
Me too. It's been way too long since we've all hung out together. All right, so farmer's market at 11, meeting at the main entrance by the big wooden sign.
Sounds like a perfect plan. I'll see you bright and early. Well, relatively early for a Saturday. See you then, Mike.
Can't wait. This is going to be great. See you Saturday, Sarah.
All right, let's break down what we just heard. There's so much great language in that conversation. Max, what stood out to you first?
The first thing I noticed is how naturally Sarah and Mike started the conversation. They didn't just jump into making plans, they asked about each other's week first. This is super typical in American English. We call this small talk.
Exactly. And notice how they both complained a little about work being busy. This is actually a bonding technique. Sharing similar struggles helps people connect. Sarah said, "I've been working late all week," and Mike mentioned one meeting after another.
Great point. Now, let's talk about how they made the suggestion. Sarah didn't demand anything. She asked, "Are you up for doing something this Saturday?" This is much more polite than saying, "Let's do something Saturday."
Right. And when Mike responded with, "Absolutely, I'm definitely up for hanging out," he was enthusiastic but also flexible. He didn't immediately suggest his own idea. He asked, "What did you have in mind?" This shows he's interested in her suggestions.
I love how Sarah presented her idea too. She said, "I was thinking we could check out that new farmer's market." Starting with "I was thinking" makes it sound like a casual suggestion, not a firm plan. It leaves room for discussion.
And Mike's response was perfect. "That sounds awesome. I'm totally down for that." He used two positive expressions, "sounds awesome" and "totally down for," which shows genuine enthusiasm. This encourages the conversation to continue.
Now, here's something really important for our listeners. Notice how they negotiated the time. Sarah admitted, "I'm not much of a morning person on weekends." Being honest about your preferences is totally normal and helpful when making plans.
Absolutely. And Mike agreed by sharing his own preference. "I need at least 2 cups of coffee before I can function properly." They found a compromise at 11 a.m. that worked for both of them. This is how real friendships work.
You're right. Now, let's talk about the phrase catch up. Both Sarah and Mike used this, but in slightly different ways. Mike said, "We could grab lunch there and then catch up properly," meaning they'd have a real conversation about their lives.
Yes. And Sarah responded with, "I'd love to catch up. There's so much I want to tell you." She was specific about wanting to share news, which shows she values their friendship and wants to maintain that connection.
Now, here's a cultural note. When they decided to invite others, they didn't just assume their friends would come. Mike texted to ask, and when Jessica couldn't make it, she offered to take a rain check for next weekend.
That's such an important point. Taking a rain check isn't rejecting the friendship. It's postponing and suggesting an alternative. Jessica even suggested, "We plan something for Sunday next week." This keeps the social connection alive.
And notice how they handled Tom's response. He said he was down for it but needed to arrive slightly later because of his car situation. Good friends are flexible and understanding about these small changes.
The conversation ended with clear confirmation of the plan. They specified the time, the place, and even the meeting spot. Main entrance by the big wooden sign. This prevents confusion later.
For our listeners, the key takeaway is that making plans in English involves several steps. Small talk, suggesting an idea gently, being flexible about details, and confirming everything clearly at the end.
And don't forget the emotional aspect. Throughout the conversation, both Sarah and Mike expressed excitement. "I'm really looking forward to this and can't wait." This positive energy makes people want to spend time with you.
Perfect analysis. Now let's move on to our second conversation and learn some new vocabulary.
Vocabulary Preview.
Our second conversation is about dealing with a customer service situation. Let's start with look into.
Great choice. Look into means to investigate or examine something more carefully. It's very common in customer service situations.
For example, a representative might say, "I'll look into this issue for you right away." They're promising to investigate your problem.
Perfect. You could also use it personally, like, "I need to look into getting a better phone plan." It means you're going to research and investigate your options.
Nice example. Okay, Max, what's our second word?
Let's go with sort out.
Oh, this is super useful. Sort out means to resolve or fix a problem. It's very common in British and American English when talking about solving issues.
Right. Here's an example. "Don't worry, we'll sort this out for you today." The customer service person is promising to fix your problem.
Exactly. Or you might say, "I need to sort out this billing error before it gets worse." You're taking action to resolve the issue yourself.
Great explanation. Your turn, Mia.
My word is follow up.
This one's really important in customer service. Follow up means to check on something again later, or to take additional action after an initial contact.
For example, "I'll follow up with you by email tomorrow with an update." The person is promising to contact you again with more information.
Exactly. Or you as a customer might say, "I'm following up on the complaint I made last week." You're checking on the progress of something you started earlier.
Great examples. Okay, Max, our fourth word?
Let's talk about bear with me.
Oh, this is such a polite phrase. Bear with me means please be patient while I do something. It's very courteous and professional.
Exactly. Here's how you'd hear it. "Could you bear with me for just a moment while I check your account?" They're asking for your patience.
Right. And it sounds much more polite than just saying wait. You could also say bear with me. This might take a few minutes to load.
Perfect. And our final vocabulary word, Mia?
Let's finish with escalate.
This is really important in customer service situations. Escalate means to move a problem to a higher level, usually to a supervisor or manager.
Exactly. For example, "I'm going to escalate this to my supervisor," means they're getting someone with more authority to help solve your problem.
Right. And as a customer, you might say, "I'd like to escalate this issue, please," when the first person can't help you and you need to speak to someone with more power to make decisions.
So we've covered look into, sort out, follow up, bear with me, and escalate. These will really help you understand our next conversation.
Absolutely. Now let's listen to Emma calling customer service about a problem with her internet bill.
Thank you for calling Tech Connect customer service. This is David speaking. How can I help you today?
Hi, David. I'm calling about my internet bill. I received my statement yesterday, and there are some charges on here that I don't understand. I'm really confused about what I'm being charged for.
I'm sorry to hear you're having trouble with your bill, Emma. I'd be happy to look into this for you right away. Could you please provide me with your account number or the phone number associated with your account?
Sure, my account number is 458-739-2-1106. I've been a customer for about 3 years now, and I've never had billing issues like this before.
Thank you for that information. Let me pull up your account. Okay, I can see your account here. Could you bear with me for just a moment while I review your recent billing activity? I want to make sure I understand exactly what charges you're questioning.
Of course, take your time. I really appreciate your help. While you're looking, I should mention that I never signed up for any additional services recently, but there's a charge for something called Premium Support Package for $29.99.
I see exactly what you're referring to. Let me look into this Premium Support Package charge. It shows here that it was added to your account on March 15th. Do you recall making any changes to your service around that time, or perhaps speaking with any of our representatives?
March 15th. That's when I called because my internet was running really slowly. The person I spoke with said they could help improve my connection, but they never mentioned any additional charges. I definitely didn't agree to pay extra for anything.
I understand your concern, and I apologize for this confusion. Let me dig deeper into the notes from that call. It looks like there might have been a miscommunication about what services were being offered. I can see that the representative did add this package, but there's no record of proper authorization from you.
That's exactly what happened. The person was very helpful with fixing my internet speed, but I'm absolutely certain they never told me about any monthly charges. This is really frustrating because I trust your company, and now I feel like I was tricked.
I completely understand your frustration, Emma, and I sincerely apologize for this experience. This definitely shouldn't have happened. What I'm going to do is remove this premium support package from your account immediately, and I'll also refund the charge back to your original payment method.
Thank you so much. That's exactly what I was hoping for. How long will it take for the refund to show up? And will this premium support thing be completely removed going forward?
The refund should appear on your statement within 3 to 5 business days. And yes, I've completely removed the premium support package from your account. You won't see any future charges for this service. Let me also add a note to your account about this situation in case you need to reference it later.
That's great, but I'm still a bit worried this might happen again. Is there anything I can do to prevent unauthorized charges in the future? I just want to make sure my bill stays the same, unless I specifically ask for changes.
Absolutely, that's a very reasonable request. I'm going to add a special note to your account that requires supervisor approval for any service changes or additions. This means that if anyone tries to add services to your account in the future, it will need to be escalated to a manager who will confirm everything with you directly.
Perfect. That gives me a lot more confidence. Is there anything else I should know about my account or any other steps I need to take?
Everything looks good now, Emma. Your regular monthly charge will remain at $49.99 for your standard internet package. I'm also going to follow up with you via email within 24 hours to confirm that the refund has been processed and to provide you with a summary of today's conversation.
You've been incredibly helpful, David. I really appreciate how quickly you were able to sort this out. It's nice to know that when there's a problem, your customer service team actually cares about fixing it properly.
Thank you so much for those kind words, Emma. It's customers like you who make my job rewarding. Is there anything else I can help you with today, or do you have any other questions about your account?
No, I think that covers everything. Thanks again for your excellent service. I feel much better about this whole situation now.
Wonderful. Thank you for being a loyal Tech Connect customer, Emma. Have a great rest of your day, and don't hesitate to call us if you need anything else in the future.
Thank you, David. You too. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Emma, and thank you for calling Tech Connect.
Wow, that was a really well-handled customer service call. There's so much we can learn from both Emma and David in that conversation. Mia, what impressed you most about how David handled the situation?
I loved how David started with a professional but warm greeting. He said, "This is David speaking. How can I help you today?" Notice he used his name. This creates a personal connection right from the beginning. It makes customers feel like they're talking to a real person, not just a company.
Absolutely. And when Emma explained her problem, David immediately acknowledged her frustration. He said, "I'm sorry to hear you're having trouble," before jumping into solutions. This validation is so important. It shows he's listening and cares about her experience.
Great point. Now, let's talk about the phrase look into. David used it perfectly when he said, "I'd be happy to look into this for you right away." This sounds much more professional than just saying, "I'll check," or "I'll see what I can do."
Exactly. And notice how he used bear with me. Could you bear with me for just a moment while I review your recent billing activity? This is so much more polite than saying hold on or wait. It acknowledges that he's asking for her time and patience.
I also loved how David explained what he was doing as he worked. He said, "Let me pull up your account and let me dig deeper into the notes." This transparency helps customers feel involved in the process rather than just waiting in silence.
That's such a good observation. Now let's look at how Emma presented her problem. She was clear and specific. She mentioned the exact charge, the amount, $29.99, and when it appeared. Being specific like this helps customer service representatives help you faster.
Right. And Emma stayed calm and polite throughout, even though she was frustrated. She said, "I really appreciate your help," and "This is really frustrating because I trust your company." She expressed her feelings without being rude or aggressive.
Now here's something really important. Notice how David took ownership of the problem. He didn't blame other departments or make excuses. Instead, he said, "I sincerely apologize for this experience, and this definitely shouldn't have happened."
And when he offered the solution, he was very clear about what he would do. He said, "I'm going to remove this premium support package, and I'll also refund the charge." He used specific action words that showed he was taking concrete steps.
I love how Emma asked follow-up questions too. She wanted to know, how long will it take for the refund? And is there anything I can do to prevent this in the future? These are smart questions that prevent future problems.
And David's response was brilliant. Instead of just saying it won't happen again, he offered a specific solution, adding a note that requires supervisor approval for changes. This gave Emma real confidence that her account was protected.
Let's talk about the phrase escalate. David mentioned it when explaining the new protection. It will need to be escalated to a manager. This shows Emma that future changes will go to someone with more authority, which adds an extra layer of security.
I also noticed how David used follow up at the end. "I'm going to follow up with you via email within 24 hours. This isn't just solving the immediate problem. It's ensuring the customer knows the solution worked and feels taken care of.
And Emma's response at the end was perfect. She said, "You've been incredibly helpful, and I really appreciate how quickly you were able to sort this out. When you receive good service, acknowledging it makes the representative feel valued and encourages continued good service."
The key takeaway for our listeners is that successful customer service interactions have 3 parts. Clearly explaining your problem, staying polite but firm about what you need, and asking questions to prevent future issues.
And if you're ever in a situation like this, remember, good customer service representatives want to help you. Being polite, specific, and patient usually gets you much better results than being angry or demanding.
Perfect analysis. Now, let's move on to our final conversation with some workplace vocabulary.
Vocabulary preview.
In our third conversation, we're going to deal with workplace conflict. Let's begin with our first expression. Speak up.
Speak up means to express your opinion or concerns, especially when something is bothering you or when something feels unfair.
For example, if something at work is bothering you, it's important to speak up before it gets worse. You're encouraging someone to share their thoughts or concerns.
Or you might say, "I should have spoken up during the meeting when I disagreed with the plan. It means you regret not expressing your opinion earlier. Next up, let's go with back down.
That's a powerful one. Back down means to stop insisting on something, especially after realizing you might be wrong or to avoid further conflict.
Right. Here's an example. After a long argument, he finally backed down and agreed to the compromise. That means he stopped resisting.
Or, I won't back down just because someone disagrees with me. That shows someone is standing their ground. Okay, now let's look at get along.
Classic workplace phrase. Get along means to have a good friendly relationship with someone.
Yes. For example, it's important to get along with your coworkers to create a healthy work environment.
Or, even though we have different opinions, we still get along just fine. That means the relationship stays friendly despite differences. And word number 4 is blow up.
Oh, this is a strong one. In this context, blow up means to suddenly become very angry or to have an explosive argument.
Exactly. Like, he blew up when he found out about the mistake on the report. That means he lost his temper.
Or, we need to talk about this calmly. I don't want things to blow up again like last time. That shows the speaker is trying to avoid a conflict. And our last one is smooth things over.
Great choice. Smooth things over means to repair a situation after a conflict, to restore peace and understanding.
Right. For example, after our disagreement, I tried to smooth things over by inviting her to lunch.
Or, a good manager knows how to smooth things over between team members. That shows someone is resolving tension in a positive way.
Now that we've learned these 5 important expressions, speak up, back down, get along, blow up, and smooth things over, we're ready to dive into our next scenario.
In Conversation 3, we'll hear a tense moment between 2 coworkers who've had a disagreement about a project deadline. Watch how they handle the conflict and use some of the vocabulary we just practiced. Ready? Let's listen.
Hey, George, do you have a minute?
Sure, what's up?
I just wanted to talk about what happened in the meeting this morning. I felt like you kind of shut me down when I suggested pushing the deadline back.
Really? That's not how I meant it at all. I just thought we needed to stay on track, but if it came across that way, I apologize.
Thanks. I'm not trying to start anything. I just think we should be able to speak up in meetings without worrying about getting cut off.
You're right. And honestly, I've been under a lot of pressure lately with the Anderson project. I probably came off harsher than I meant to.
Yeah, I get that. We're all dealing with a lot. I'm just concerned that we might miss the quality mark if we rush things.
Fair point. Maybe we can find a way to meet in the middle, like adjusting the internal timeline without changing the client's delivery date.
That might work. I didn't want to blow up in front of everyone, but I really felt like my input was being ignored.
I completely understand. And I'm glad you brought this up instead of letting it build up. It's always better to smooth things over early.
Agreed. I was honestly nervous about bringing it up, but I didn't want any tension between us.
Yeah, me too. We usually get along pretty well, and I'd hate for this to mess that up.
Same here. That's why I figured we should clear the air. Communication is important, especially with a tight team like ours.
Absolutely. I appreciate you speaking up. It actually helps me see things from a different angle.
That means a lot. And maybe I should have asked more questions instead of just assuming we had to change the timeline. I can see now you are trying to protect the bigger picture.
It's all good. You were raising valid concerns. I think we both want the same thing, a successful project.
Exactly. And hey, I don't want you to feel like you need to back down every time I disagree. I just want us to collaborate better.
No worries. I'm not backing down. I'm adjusting. There's a difference.
Fair enough. So, should we sit down with the rest of the team tomorrow and talk through the updated schedule?
Yeah, that's a good idea. If we do it together, it'll show the team we're aligned and not just arguing behind the scenes.
Right. And we can present it as a solution, not just more problems. I think that'll go over better.
Definitely. Oh, and I meant to say you did a great job on that draft report you sent yesterday. I didn't get a chance to say it earlier, but I was impressed.
Thanks, George. That means a lot. I respect your work too. You're always really organized and clear with your strategy.
Thanks. You know, I think our differences actually balance each other out pretty well.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. You focus on structure, and I tend to look at flexibility and detail. It's a good mix when we communicate properly.
Exactly. Maybe we should schedule short check-ins twice a week, just to make sure we're always on the same page.
I love that idea. That way, small issues won't grow into bigger ones.
Agreed. We'll keep things smooth from now on.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks for taking the time to talk, George.
Anytime, Elizabeth. I'm really glad we talked. Things feel a lot clearer now.
Same here. Have a good rest of the day.
You too.
That was a really honest and mature conversation. I love how Elizabeth and George handled that conflict. Don't you, Mia?
Absolutely, Max. Right from the beginning, Elizabeth opened the conversation calmly and clearly. She didn't accuse. She said, "I just wanted to talk about what happened." That's such a respectful way to bring up a problem.
And George responded really well. Instead of getting defensive, he said, "If it came across that way, I apologize." That's a great way to take responsibility without making excuses.
Yes. And did you notice how they both used some of the phrases we introduced earlier? For example, George said, "I'm glad you brought this up instead of letting it build up." That shows he appreciates direct communication.
Right. And then Elizabeth said, "I figured we should clear the air." That's a perfect example of handling tension before it gets worse.
Another great moment was when George said, "We usually get along pretty well, and I'd hate for this to mess that up." That shows he values the relationship more than the disagreement.
Exactly. And when they talked about the project timeline, they didn't just argue. They looked for a way to meet in the middle. That's collaboration at its best.
And let's not forget how they used compliments to rebuild trust. George said, "I was impressed with your draft report," and Elizabeth responded with a compliment too. That's how you turn conflict into connection.
I also loved when George said, "I'm not backing down. I'm adjusting." There's a difference. That shows strength and flexibility at the same time.
Such a good point. And in the end, they agreed to check in regularly, which is a smart move to prevent future problems. That's what real teamwork looks like.
So, to all our listeners, next time you face a conflict at work, remember to stay calm, use clear language, and focus on solving the problem, not winning the argument.
Exactly. And be like Elizabeth and George. Listen, adjust, and communicate with respect.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Max and Mia podcast. We hope today's episode gave you some real-life tools for handling conflict at work with confidence and class.
If you learned something new or just enjoyed the conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode.
And if you want to practice these expressions, check the description below. We've got bonus activities, vocabulary lists, and more.
Also, leave us a comment. Have you ever had to clear the air with a coworker? How did it go? We'd love to hear your story.
That's it for today. Keep practicing, keep growing, and remember, every conversation is a chance to connect.
See you in the next episode of the Max and Mia podcast. Bye for now.